Remember when the Vegas buffet was a promise? An all-you-can-eat spectacle of abundance that made every visitor feel like a high roller. Now it is often an empty hall of broken promises. But what if the decline in quality is not an accident? What if the sad-looking food and empty seats are the predictable result of a deliberate corporate calculation? In this video, we are exposing how the soul of the Vegas buffet was sold off, one lukewarm shrimp at a time. What happens when the lost leader that built a city is no longer worth the cost? Vegas buffets were once a performance. Chefs in tall hats carving prime rib, while customers lined up for crab legs cascading over ice. The crackle of fresh stir-fry, the smell of baked rolls out of the oven. It was theater through food. The entire system was engineered to make you feel like royalty, abundance, freshness, and spectacle. Every item on the line told the same story. You matter, and Vegas will feed you like a king. But walking into most buffets today, that story falls apart immediately. What you find now is the grim reality of cost-cutting. Seafood once cracked fresh sights rubbery under heating lamps. Sushi looks like it was prepped yesterday, not 20 minutes ago. Veggies have lost their crispness. Meats lose their shine. And even desserts, once mini works of art, feel mass-produced by a central kitchen nowhere near the strip. The transformation is not just about lower quality ingredients. It is about time and labor. Freshness costs both. Buffets were built on armies of chefs prepping around the clock. Now they run skeleton crews. Instead of station chefs cooking to order, there is a single line cook cycling reheated trays from the back. Instead of lighting designed to showcase freshness, dimly lit warmers disguise fatigue. Even the salad bars have fallen victim. What used to look like gardens of abundance now sit wilted, dry, uninspired. Guests notice because this is not the Vegas buffet they grew up with. And that is the tragedy. The defining promise of buffets, fresh, beautiful food, and endless supply, has been quietly dismantled by accountants, not chefs. What remains is food that technically qualifies as all you can eat, but spiritually has lost every ounce of its life. The Vegas buffet that once symbolized culinary generosity has been restructured into a profit-maximizing machine. What used to make you say, "Wow," now barely makes you shrug. There was a time when $20 could buy you the world. When a Vegas buffet was where families splurged without guilt and left with both their wallets and stomachs full. Today, that equation is finished. Buffets that once cost $20 now cost $50, $60, even $80 a head. And the worst part? Quality has not caught up to price. You are paying steakhouse prices for cafeteria flavor. You are paying Michelin money for corporate mediocrity. The core value of the Vegas buffet was always its accessibility. You could roll in from the casino in shorts and a smile, grab everything from prime rib to dim sum, and feel like you had beaten the system. But inflation alone does not explain the dramatic shift. The pricing model has changed. Buffets are no longer seen as attractions or loss leaders. They are expected to pull their own profit weight. Gaming revenue used to subsidize cheap buffets. Casinos treated them like marketing investments. Now those days are over. Corporate management wants every department to show a return on investment, and that includes food. The result? Smaller portions, frozen ingredients, tighter service staff, and elevated prices to offset lower margins. Guests are feeling it. People still walk in out of nostalgia, but they walk out with a sense of betrayal. Paying more for less is not just bad value. It is a reminder that the city that once catered to you now caters to shareholders. The promise of affordability that built Vegas, the idea that you could live large for less, has been flipped. Now, a buffet is not an indulgence. It is a risk. A bet that rarely pays off. And ironically, the more buffets raise their prices to compensate for lower demand, the fewer people come. What used to be a loop of abundance has turned into a spiral of scarcity. Once upon a time, Vegas buffets were a global food festival. Italian stations making handmade pasta next to Mexican grills searing carne asada, and Japanese counters rolling sushi. You could tour the world in one room, a culinary passport where every station was a new discovery. That diversity is gone. Try walking through multiple modern buffets one after another, and you will notice something unsettling. They are nearly identical. The same mashed potatoes, the same generic teriyaki noodles, the same carved turkey and gravy even in the middle of July. The inspiration has been sucked out and replaced with a formula. These menus are designed not to excite, but to survive, with minimal prep time, maximum shelf life, and repeatable setups across multiple properties. Buffets used to reflect creativity and pride. Now they reflect spreadsheets. When you reduce your brand to the same handful of safe choices, you kill what made your buffet unique. The effect is compounded by supply consolidation. Corporate conglomerates own multiple casino brands, so menu parity becomes efficiency. Instead of competition driving improvement, we get uniformity driving mediocrity. Guests start realizing there is no reason to try another buffet, because they all feel like the same one. And repeat business, once the lifeblood of Vegas hospitality, evaporates. Menus used to rotate seasonally, offering something new with each visit. Now you can come back a year later and find the exact same tray of macaroni sitting under the same heat lamp. What once invited exploration now rewards resignation. Guests do not go for the thrill of variety. They go because they remember when it used to be good, hoping for a flicker of that old magic. But it is not coming back, because variety costs money, and novelty does not show up on a quarterly report. Old-school buffets were models of efficiency. You walked in, grabbed a plate, and your only delay was deciding what to eat first. The new buffet experience is not about freedom. It is about friction. You are met with long lines, slow-moving queues, and overwhelmed workers struggling to keep pace with crowds far larger than the staff can handle. Drink refills take 20 minutes. Plates stack up on tables. Stations run out of food and stay empty for 10, sometimes 15 minutes before anyone notices. It is not the employee's fault. It is the structure. Labor cuts were supposed to save money, but they have created a service vacuum. Every other table seems to be trying to flag down the same person. And behind the counter, exhausted cooks cannot keep up with demand. This is the ugly side of the post-pandemic hospitality reset. Fewer workers, more tasks, and corporate patience stretched thin. Management expects the profits from before 2020 with half the staff, and the result is chaos. Service was what bridged the gap between self-serve and satisfaction. Without it, buffets feel mechanical, stripped of personality. When the human element disappears, so does the heart of the experience. Guests do not feel cared for. They feel processed. And that is what is killing repetition. No one wants to come back to a place that makes them feel like a burden. Waiting for scrambled eggs should not feel like waiting for a DMV number to be called. But in modern Vegas buffets, that is often the atmosphere. Slow, joyless, transactional. The defining advantage of the buffet, convenience, has been completely reversed. There was a time when stepping into a Vegas buffet felt like entering a royal banquet hall. Bright chandeliers, curved serving stations, gold accents. Each buffet had its own style, its own energy. You were not just eating, you were participating in the pageantry of Las Vegas. Now those chandeliers hang over dull laminate floors and muted beige walls. The same plastic chairs and industrial lighting line dining rooms that feel more like discount convention centers than celebratory dining halls. The room is beige and forgettable. Atmosphere was never about architecture alone. It was about feeling taken care of. That sensation is gone. Modern buffets feel cold, transactional, unromantic. There is no excitement, no spectacle, just function. Part of that is corporate minimalism, cutting corners on maintenance, decor, and updates because the food should be the attraction. But when the food is already lackluster, atmosphere is the last line of defense. Many of these buffets have not seen meaningful renovation in 15, sometimes 20 years. Carpets faded, booths reduced to patches of duct tape. Even the signage feels dated. And when your surroundings whisper apathy, guests internalize it. Casinos now pour their aesthetic budgets into revenue-heavy spaces, bars, nightclubs, and lounges. Buffets, no longer prestige destinations, are left to age quietly in fluorescent purgatory. The result is dining that feels obligatory, not indulgent. And that is an existential problem for a city founded on the promise of magic. Vegas used to turn even a meal into an occasion. Now it feels like a chore. Buffets have always existed in a delicate balance between indulgence and hygiene. The concept depends on trust, that everything you see under those glass sneeze guards is safe, fresh, and handled with care. That trust has fractured. Even before the pandemic, health inspectors criticized self-serve models for their risk of cross-contamination. After the pandemic, consumer sensitivity to cleanliness skyrocketed. Buffets promised change, with gloves, screens, and attendance. But many quietly reverted to behaviors from before 2020. Guests notice uncovered dishes sitting too long, utensils handled by hundreds, questionable temperatures. The self-serve model itself is under siege, and operators have struggled to modernize it. Some tried attendance for every station, but that demanded staff they could not afford. Others experimented with smaller plate service, but that defeated the all-you-can-eat allure. The result is an awkward compromise and confused execution, half buffet, half cafeteria, wholly unappetizing. And here is the corporate truth most people do not realize. Health standards cost money. Regular temperature checks, rotation cycles, and cleaning staff all add operational overhead that publicly traded companies want to minimize. So safety corners get shaved down, quietly, behind glossy signage and sanitation stations. The risk is subtle, but real. And consumers, even if they cannot articulate it, feel that loss of confidence. When something as simple as grabbing salad tongs now feels slightly unsettling, your business model is in trouble. Buffets once symbolized trust. We will feed you safely, endlessly, joyfully. Lose that trust, and you lose the entire premise. Vegas has evolved. The food scene that once revolved around buffets has exploded into something entirely new. Celebrity chefs, curated tasting menus, hyper-themed restaurants, experiences that deliver artistry instead of abundance. And here is the painful part. They are not much more expensive than a buffet now. When a Gordon Ramsay restaurant offers a crafted 3-course meal for $70, and your local buffet charges $60 for generic lasagna and dry chicken, the decision is not hard. The market has shifted from quantity to quality, and buffets refused to adapt. They clung to the old model, insisting more is better, while the rest of the city evolved toward excellence. Tourists used to line up for buffets because they were the only affordable luxury in town. Now that luxury exists everywhere, in diners, food courts, pop-up tasting rooms, even locals have moved on. Brunches, food trucks, off-strip restaurants all offer higher satisfaction, lower prices, and none of the institutional sadness buffets now project. Buffets are trapped in time. They are competing against experiences that tell stories, while they still sell excess. And excess without excitement equals boredom. There is also the logistics problem. Younger generations, especially millennials and Gen Z, do not romanticize overeating like previous generations did. For them, it is about what they eat, ethical sourcing, presentation, value, not how much. Buffets are fighting cultural relevance as well as market competition. The entire concept of gluttony as fun no longer excites the same way. Corporate leaders misread this moment, cutting costs instead of reimagining value. And so, while the rest of Vegas ascends to culinary artistry, buffets stand still, slowly fading into irrelevance. They turned your childhood Vegas dream into a corporate nightmare. Abundance was replaced with scarcity, quality with convenience, value with exploitation. You have been sold a lie while they pocket the difference. Have you been disappointed by modern Vegas buffets? Share your story below. Subscribe. We are fighting for the Vegas you deserve, not the one they are forcing on you.